It worked, guys. Good. Oh, come on in. Let's get on the bridging and then we'll get started. Really glad to have you. Take your feet on the mat and we'll start with some bridging to wake up your back. Good. Curling up. Let me see who's here. Good. Catherine's here. You made it. Is that Karen? She made it? Yep, it's working. Yeah, I'm not sure why humidity sometimes creates that problem, but it does happen. So good job. I'm glad we're here. It's even here. We even had rains here, but so far, internet's good, guys. Curl up and down. I can see you all. And let me see. Yep, okay, great. I can see everybody. So curl your lower back up and down. And when you're doing this, you can make sure there's a little space underneath your neck so that you don't put pressure on the neck. You're just going to shoulder blades. So right at this point, we're waking up our hamstrings and our glutes. We're also waking up our back. You can think about all four corners of your feet into the floor. Breathe in. It should start to feel like you're warming up. And you're going to hold this bridge and we're going to add a little pulse, maybe 1 to 3 inches with the neutral knee alignment. Breathe in and out normally. And then this time, just let your knees touch. Don't move the feet, just let your knees touch and keep pulsing. We're going to wake up all the fibers of the glutes and the hamstrings. Open up the knees a little bit and just keep going. Now we're going to put the knees back in line, and this is going to be a way to wake up your calves. Lift your heels and lower them about 5 times. Lift and lower while your hips are in the air. Lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. Now leave the right leg on the floor and lift up your left leg and wake up this hamstring. So you're going to reach it up and down. You can point and flex, and there you're waking up your ankle a little bit more, your hamstring. Now the right side might be getting tired. If it's getting too tired, just take a breather and join when you can. Inhale and exhale. Now that foot's going to come down to the floor and you're in bridge. I like to make sure the hips are level right here, and then take your other leg up. So as soon as I lift the leg, at first the leg feels tight. So you may find you don't have a bigger range of motion, and then you just slowly, you feel it warming up and you give into a deeper range of motion there. And you can point and flex more as the reps go on. 8, good, yep. Nice, Jean. And then one more here. Now you're going to let that foot go down to the floor and you're going to roll your spine, reach your hands towards your feet and start waking up your hamstrings and the glutes and back. Happy baby. And another stretch here is to put the feet together and let your knees be a little wider. And you might even let your elbows open your knees a little wider so your feet can. This is happy, this is not happy baby. This one is bound ankle, upside down butterfly. Now I want to give a little bit more attention to our hamstrings. So lift up your right leg, extend your left leg about 6 inches off the floor, and then lift your shoulder blades. Now you're going to pull in one leg and then pull in the other. So as your hamstring warms, you can pull it in more. I'm going to give us some modifications if this version doesn't serve you the best. One modification would be hands behind the head, kind of like a little support. Another neat trick, one of my favorites, is your Pilates ring or even a towel right behind your skull. I love this. The Pilates ring for this one is really cool. Another trick is to have a little pillow under your head so you don't have to lift up so much and the neck doesn't have to work so much there. Okay, we're going to take one more and then recover. Hug your legs in and move right and move left and move right and move left. Now the hands are going to go to the back of the head or your Pilates ring, and we're going to rotate while you extend one leg. And this is the crisscross exercise. In yoga, it's the bicycle, but in Pilates, it's the crisscross. Rotation, rotation, rotation. And I hope your abs are starting to warm up. Let's pull our toes back like your heel is leading the way. Your heel is pushing. Good. Push, push, and push. All right, 4 more, 3. And then go back to happy baby for a moment. 5. And then let your feet back down. Now we're gonna do a sneaky hip stretch in here. So put your right ankle on your left thigh. And it's not a huge stretch, but we are gonna lift up our hips while you're in this gentle hip opener. So you can even push that knee towards the floor, but your left glute's working. 4, 5, we're gonna do 15, 6, 7, 8, 11. Now let that foot down, the right foot down, the other one's in a little gentle hip stretch or hip opener, and push. I like to exhale on the up. Also make sure your hip's not rotating, it's level. Now that foot is gonna come down, lower your spine for a moment. Now the next one is double leg stretch. So I'll start with a modification, but if you know where we're going, keep going. You could hug your shins and then reach your arms and legs out. Right now the head's on the floor or a pillow for a modification. If you want another one for your neck, another modification, you can use your Pilates ring behind your head. You can tap your elbow to your knee and elbows to knee. And then if you don't want the modifications, that longer lever is more work, more challenge. You open and then just take 5 more or the best that you can do. Rest anytime you need it. I know when I give all these modifications, it means we do more reps, but that's okay. You can just rest and then recover. And then a little bit of a rock feels nice here. Rock, rock, rock. Leave your left leg down and lift your right leg up. This is another place where if you want a modification, you can use a pillow, draw a circle, and you can go as big as your hip doesn't click or as big as your rib doesn't come off the mat. And feel how mobile your hip is. It's so good for your ball and socket joints to get the long bone, in this case the femur, circling the socket. So big, like you're just lubricating the whole joint. Lubricating the whole joint, just like you would lubricate a bike chain. And now you're gonna go the other way. Of course you wanna feel your abs pulling your ribs down. But this circular motion helps keep those hips healthy. Breathe in, breathe in. It's like bone broth for your bone, but in the exercise form. It's like an exercise form of bone broth. Very good for your hips. One more. We're gonna take the leg really tall and hold on to your hamstring, your back leg, and point and flex. When I do this, I generally will go ahead and point and flex both feet. Our focus is the top foot, but if it doesn't bother you to do the other one too, go for it. Inhale. Now this leg that was in the air, it's a little more stretched out. Pour it down. Lift up the other leg. I should mention another modification. The other modification is if your low back tends to think it wants to come off the floor, you can bend the right knee a little, or you can bend the left knee a little, or you can kind of wedge your shoulders and your head on a pillow. Now the other way. And you're going to hold that leg up and point flex. And yep. And really reach through your toes as well. Point flex. Feel that hamstring stretching. The other hip flexor is getting a stretch too. Both legs are going to come up and let them stay up there for a moment and give them a little point and flex. All right, now both hands are going to be beside the hips like a frame. And imagine you have a ribbon between your legs and you are holding on to that ribbon, and your inner thighs activate a little bit more when you are adducting, when you are, it's not a grip, it's not an over contraction where you're bearing down, but it's a gentle keeping the legs together feeling. Like you have a tissue between your leg or your feet or your, whatever part of your leg touches. So for ankles, feet, knees. All right, exhale. The bigger the circle, the more challenge it is. So you can always modify by little circles or bending your knees. And we're just gonna do one more each. And breathe, and neck is soft, and breathe. Now, this is the stretch, the figure four we're gonna take here. Reach your hands through the window, and you could hold on to your thigh or your shin. And I like to rock here. And I also notice how the low back gets a good response from this, a good benefit. All right, let's take your other one, the ankle to thigh. Reach your hands through. And you can hold on to the shin if that doesn't bother your knee, or the thigh, either one. This is a good place also just to release your neck. So it could be that you just kind of move left and right as well with your hip as well. Little shakes, little shake it outs will help release tension. Breathe in. And we're going to be getting a sip. I'm going to sneak in an ab crunch to do it. So if you put your hands behind your thighs and you tuck your chin, you can come up, grab a sip, and then we'll meet back on the floor. Good job, guys. I'm going to bring my drink a little closer and take off my shawl, but we're going to meet back on the side. And work the hips a bit. So you've got this forearm on your floor, but if you need to modify, you can keep your head down. But you're going to draw a circle with your toes pointed. Now your toes are going to pull back. In other words, your heel is going to lead the way. Stay lifted. This bone, we're trying to get stronger. The hip is really important to have bone density. This muscle is getting stronger. It pulls on the bone and creates more density. Now we're going to take this arm as a pillow. You can also use an actual pillow. Take your top leg out of the way and lift up. Now when you lift, there's a little ab tone. So I like to put a hand right here, and it reminds my abs to fire well. You're pulling your toes back on the next, and you're going to do 10. Now both legs are going to glue together. You remember how we did that earlier in corkscrew? Imagine there's a little ribbon between your legs. When you come up, here's the proprioceptive cue right here. There's a little pulling down, pubic bone pulling up sensation. Can you challenge yourself to go a half an inch higher? To smooth out any wiggle. You can stay up, and let's go up. And you can challenge yourself to go up a little higher. Notice how your brain tells you what your height is, and you can usually go a little bit more. Now I feel the leg more because I added that extra attention. Now this leg stays up. Try to go up and down with the bottom. And try to work it a half an inch more than you think you can. And notice what you're capable of. Notice the depth that you're capable of. Now let's go over to the other side. Woo. At first, your elbow or forearm is on the mat underneath your shoulder. The top leg is going to point, and some of that circle goes behind you. That's how you get that posterior fibers of the posterior of the glute medius, which is really important for back hair and balance. So some of the circles should go behind your leg, your body. Some of it's in front. Now pull your toes back and go the other way and lift or be bigger in a circle. Let your circle be bigger than your mind initially thinks it should be, right? You're capable usually more of what your body initially contracts into. Now we're gonna put that leg, we're gonna lie on our arm and put that leg in front of the other one. Take your bottom leg and draw a circle point. Now you're going to pull your toes back and go backwards. All right, you're going to put both legs together. Now lift up. Here's one proprioceptive hand right here, right there. You can feel, good Jean, feel how that helps. Now you don't have to have it there. You might want it on the floor just as a little stabilizer. Not a death grip shoulder, but just a little stabilizer. So your mind can still be on that abdominal lift, your tension. Now what we'll do is try to hold it up and then take the top leg higher and up. Now half an inch higher than you think you can. Toes point forward, in other words, they're not pointing up to the sky. Feel that waist. Now this other leg. Guys, very good job. Let's grab a sip and then meet. Good job. I'd like to have us do some swans, but I want to offer that if, let's say, your belly down position isn't good for your back, you can always do opposite arm, opposite leg reach instead of a belly down. So that's a great modification for most people. If you would like, though, come down with me and let your hands be pretty low, like beside your pelvis, palms down, and then inhale, float your upper back up. Now, maybe float the thighs up. For most of us, you can, but if that creates too much, then leave the toes down. Otherwise, lift and breathe. Lift and breathe. Lift and breathe. Now let your arms be a pillow and lengthen your left leg. Now lengthen your right leg up. Lengthen your left leg. Lengthen your right leg up. Left. Right. Left. Right. Left. Now both of them can come up and do a fast flutter like you're swimming laps at the swimming pool. Hamstrings, glutes. Feel your abs pull in. Tight, tight, tight. Stay up there and tap the feet together, horizontal heel beats. About 20. Now I'm going to push us back. Child pose. Toes curl under if you want a little extra foot stretch. Push your hands into the floor. And just come back for a few cat-cows, round and inhale, exhale, round and inhale. Let's make that 5. If you would like to stay here, do. If you want a little bit more, lift your knees and do more. This is called the beast or hover. Now lower your shins, come back down to your belly. And this is the Sphinx. You still want to lift your abs here. This is a great place, but you can also go up with your elbows up off the mat. So now you're in a more of a swan. What I see looks good on everyone. Every day you may have something different going on. So you always want to know, kind of like keep the modifications in your back pocket. So let's say you play golf and you hadn't played in a while and your back's a little tight. You can always go back to a modification. Now just breathe in and let the breath fill your upper back that we're working on. Breathe in, upper back. Breathe in. Lower, but when you do, lift up both legs. So you could take your cheek down and lift up both legs. Lower your legs, lift up your upper back, either Sphinx or Swan. Lower your upper back and lift up your legs. Lower your legs and lift up your upper back. Lower and lift. And lift. And lift. And lift. So you're doing this motion of lower body, upper body. One more time, and you're going to keep the upper body in a place that you feel like you can hold for 10. So shoulders are relaxed down the back. The muscles below your shoulder blades are active. Good. Area looks good. Elbows are pointing down. Michelle, that looks good. Breathe in and relax. Now, child pose. This time with child's pose, walk your fingertips over to the right. And if your knees do not like to bend this much, just keep your hips up. Otherwise, walk the fingers over. Breathe into that rib cage. If you would like to add on, this is clamshell, and you open up your armpit. Inhale. Exhale, close that armpit. Walk over to the other side. Your pinky is far away from your hip. And you open up for clamshell if you'd like to add on. Okay guys, grab a sip if you want. We're going to sneak in some planks here. A backup plan for planks would also be opposite arm, opposite leg on your all fours. And let's put that over here. When you're ready, your forearm plank comes down and your toes go back. And if you ever want to take a hand plank, you can. I just tend to bias the forearm planks since a lot of people, that's hard on the wrist after a while. I do like to add some hands sometimes because we do need some strong wrist. So it's sort of like a dance between benefit and not overstrain. But at this point, you're very strong on your forearms and your belly's pulling in and your knees are long. Your neck feels easy. You are working those muscles that prevent forward head syndrome by keeping your ear in line with your shoulder, but you're not stressing them by looking up. And I know that was a really long hold. I'm thrilled. Turn sideways that we've got that endurance and hold this side plank. Inside, I'm counting to 20. Of course, if you need to come down earlier, please do. Everybody looks great though. Keep breathing normally, not holding the breath. 18, 19, 20. Let's try the other side. Good job, guys. All right, your arm goes up. You're pressing up. About 20. Breathe in. And then exhale, lower. Now, you're just going to scoot to where your forearms are behind you. You can lift up your feet and extend and then bend. Now notice how I'm lifted up through my sternum. I'm not collapsing into my arms. There's a little lift. Now lengthen only as much as you feel like your abs can keep your ribs connected. Yeah, I'm on my elbows. That's it, Catherine. And so let's say you're really long-legged. Then you may not want to go out as far because you want to notice, where is my ab working and not going into a back bend. I'm lifted up, I'm not sinking. Now another variation here is called can-can. Go to a little corner, go a little bit to the corner, like a little diagonal, bend in, a little, good. Stay lifted. You might pretend there's something under your upper back, and if you droop, you would hit it. So you just kind of stay lifted and up your sternum. 4, but your neck feels safe. You're probably looking towards your knees. 3, 2. Now we're gonna just go onto the floor, so make sure you have enough room on your mat behind you. Good. Take your left leg long, take your right knee over, take 3 to 5 of these arm circles. Remember how I was talking about it's really good for your ball and socket joints to do circumduction. So that's what we're doing here too. We're keeping the shoulders healthy, and you're gonna find a place that feels amazing to stretch. Palm up, your gaze is that way, but once you get there, you can close your eyes. Inhale, and then exhale, switch it up. Now take your, I'm gonna move this over a little bit, take your knee down twist on the other side, your left arm, 3 to 5 circles. Another image I like is that your fingers drag across the floor where they can, like you're at the beach and you want to draw a circle. Now your left arm is going to stay out, and your right hand can act like a paperweight for the thigh. Your hips are stacked. Think length in your spine or length in your back from rib to pelvis. And then gently come back, and then you can hug your legs in and just sort of take one hand to each knee and circle them like you're stirring a pot. You're not pushing on your knees heavily, but you're just doing that circumduction we talked about. Terrific. Leave the feet down on the mat for a moment and curl up 3 times with your spinal bridge. And now notice how level that felt. Lift up your right leg and point your toes to the sky. And notice that's hamstrings better. Go up and down with 1 foot on the ground. Now pull those right toes back. Keep the same leg up, guys. So keep the same leg up. Now go up and down. Take that right foot down and point your left toes up. Now go up and down. Try to keep your hips level. You can put your hands on them if you're not sure what's going on, and make sure that right knee's not traveling out. Pull the left toes back. So same leg, don't change legs, go up and down. Just change the ankle. Yeah. Pull the toes back really strongly. We don't want to have shuffling in our life, so we're going to strengthen those muscles. All right, left foot down, lower down. Now take happy baby. If you're like me and you're near a wall, you might have to scoot because we're going to add on, but happy baby. Now stretch out the legs like a V and try to catch them, inner thigh. Breathe in, stretch. And then lower. Now, actually, let's do a bicycle for 5 so that we can get up. So first bicycle could be here. The second bicycle could be further away. A third variation of bicycle could be up. A fourth could be cross your arms. So try about 5 more now, since I spent the first ones just kind of offering variations. So try about 5. Hands behind your head is harder. We're going to use this last one to come up. Isn't that funny how 5 came about 10, became about 10? So grab a sip. Good job. So I'm going to show you one, and for fun, but I'll show you a modification, okay? So let me show you the modification first. The modification is partial roll down. That's the modification. That way you don't bite off more than you can chew with your neck. Yeah, keep drinking. And then this is another harder, but I do want to, just for kicks and giggles, do this one. It's really fun. It's called the crab. It's kind of like classic Pilates. So what you'll do for crab is you crisscross applesauce. Anybody remember this? You go back on and you switch your hands, and then you add a forward fold, and there's a hip stretch, and then you go back, you cross your legs in the air, and then you forward fold. Who remembers this one? Classic Pilates, Matt. Hip stretch, roll back, and yeah, please just have fun with it. I just thought I'd add it. Yeah, do what you can. Maybe you're just a crab in a stretch. Maybe you're a crab doing a little partial roll down. Just have fun. The intention is you get some abs, you get some hip stretches, you get some spinal mobility, and then recover. Nice, right there is a great hip stretch. So we're gonna take a little different one. Good job, guys. Thanks for playing. Thanks for playing Pilates, Matt. Okay, roll. We're going back to the one that we more know. Then your arms go overhead. And then you exhale and you come forward. And you go up and over. And then you roll. And you go back. And you inhale. And you go up and over. And you have this gentle squeeze of your legs together. You know how we've mentioned that cue, the ribbon, inner thigh squeeze? We have it here too. You can also have a cue of you gently press your feet down like you're Velcroed to the floor. Ah, you guys are doing great. We are going to do a full body stretch at the end of this one. Full body stretch, and I like to add on climb a ladder. So that is such a good QL low back lengthener. Reach, reach. Ah, so good. Is one side tighter? Can you give it more attention? Okay. Now we're going to add on. So take your inhale to go up, exhale to tuck your chin and to sweep up if you can. Do a partial roll up if you cannot. Go over. And the next possibility is that your fingertips come by your temples. You hinge. And remember, you can do a bound angle if you need to. You can do just the partial roll down or roll down. Okay, take exhale to come up. Now at this moment, if you can't come up, you may have to reach your arms forward, and that's okay. Don't let that stop you. Just sort of mix up the two moves. Then if you hinge, and then you roll. Yeah, inhale, you tuck, you come up. You may have to put your arms forward for a moment, and then you bring them back as soon as you can into triangles. This one's called neck pull, but we don't pull our neck. It's just that you're lengthening in throughout the entire back body. Over. Last one, hinge and release and full body stretch. Good job, guys. Good. All right, I'm going to have us sneak up with the foot, left foot on the floor, right leg up. Now hand behind your head, hands behind your head, and do a little crunch. This is the very beginning or modification. And Karen, put your left foot further away from you in a moment. Yeah, that's gonna open up the hip flexor and it'll make sense in a moment. So hear this, that's your first stage. If you want, come up 3 times in a climb a tree. That's when that foot further away from you makes sense. It's very hard, even for me. If I can put my foot here, I cannot even come up, right? So now we're gonna do 3 on the other side, but if you need to stay low and do your crunches, do that. So I'll show a couple. Or do this, stretch the hamstring, that feels good. 2, and really feel your abs. Try not to feel just your arms throwing or your back. You wanna feel your abs. All right, if you want, I need to give myself more room. If you want 3 like this, where you lift, this is a teaser actually, but if you're not, just go up and grab a sip and meet me. And hold if you're doing teaser. Hold, 5, 4, 3, good, 2. And then relax into teaser. Good, or sorry, into your sip. Don't do teaser anymore. Okay, we're gonna do a stretch here. Right now, I'm in a crisscross applesauce, and you could stay there, but for most of us, you may find that it's better to put your foot where your thigh meets your calf. Another trick is if you're like me and your malleolus is kind of bony and it just feels like pressure, you can always use a sock or a mat underneath something. So if you can, walk forward. If you cannot, then go back to crisscross applesauce, ankle on the floor. But rest, you can even double up your fist. I'm gonna look at you guys, but you could double your fist to put your head on the fist. Yeah, and it's like, nope, it's still too far away. It's like I need 4 fists. And that's okay. It may be you just rest however you can, the elbows, like the thinking man, just sort of find a way to get as comfortable as you can. We're only gonna stay here 10 more counts. Your main goal anyway is just to have the exhale relax your hips. Have the exhale relax your mind. You're getting a benefit even if it doesn't look like the person next to you. Roll up, and you can stretch out. We're going to do the other one. So look what one is there. Take your other foot either on the floor or up on that thigh calf crease. Protect your ankle if you need to. Take an inhale. It'll feel like a little different hip stretch. You can come down. It may be that you just sort of rest or on your forearms. I'm going to look at you guys for a minute. That side looks more open. Sometimes one side's more open than the other. Yeah, you're like only 3 fists away now. Betty, your hips are, that's awesome. That's a great idea. So Jean said, put a block there. A foam block is a great idea. A foam roller. And slowly come back up. Now this is a bit of a stretch. When you're ready,
Can you take 2 fingers around your big toes? So if this is your stretch, then just stay there. But if you can, lift up your feet. They're off the ground. Lengthen a leg. And your foot, your toe is kind of holding on to your foot. That way you don't feel like, yeah, I'm going to slip any moment. I just got an adjustment. Do you hear that little pop? Shoulder blades down. It could be bent. It could be long. Now, if you're long, you can really try to lengthen while you send your shoulder blades down. Yep. Option. Yep, do what you need though. Yeah. And lengthen the knees if you need more subtle challenge in your hamstring stretch. Breathe in. And then relax. Now this is bound ankle. You can put your elbows on the thighs if you want. Ah, looks good, everybody. Play around with how far the feet are away for what works for you. And when you're ready, slowly come up. Let's grab one more sip, guys. I'm going to have us do a side plank next, and it's going to be a lateral flexion. So grab a sip and then join me on a forearm side plank. And the focus, of course, is your plank, but if you can add on another cue, really reach so your feet can be stacked, and you go up and you go over. So if you can add that cue, go up and over like you're trying to stretch your side. Breathe in. Good, and breathe in. So I like to even stretch out through the fingers. The hands are flat and reaching. So we're kind of waking up those hands and the nervous through the hands. Reach. And reach. Now, can you do 2 more for 12? 11, and reach. 12. Now, other side. Your shoulder is down the back, and that's most important. But if you can add on a cue that doesn't make you leave that shoulder blade down the back cue, reach through your torso, go up and over. Go big stretch over. That's really important for the spine and for posture. Lift, lift. 6, and stretching out through the fingers. 7, and you're breathing. Big. 8, 9. Now we did 2 more. 11. And relax. Good. All right, I'm going to offer either a hamstring stretch or reverse plank. So find which one you need, because I know reverse plank is a little bit more in the wrist, which we need some of that, because if you fall, you want to know that you can have the strength there. We don't want to avoid it and it atrophy. And then inhale and up, and exhale, go forward, and you can catch your toes if you want, if you can, or your knees. Love it. Love it. All right, relax your neck. and then gently come up. Now, the next one is going to be a pattern with your forearms, planks. Grab a sip, good Shireen. Grab a sip, and it's going to be forearm plank, dolphin, which is upside down V, forearm plank, upside down V. So you have elbows underneath your shoulders, you stretch your legs out. Now this is plank, but then lift your hips kind of back, stretch out your calves, and go to plank. Now lift up your hips, push your hips back. You should feel some calf stretch. Push through your toes and go to plank. Feel some abs. And then you're pushing back. Lift up your toes, plank. Go back. Notice how your gaze changes so that your neck doesn't ever have any extra tension or stress. Your gaze is towards your toes in dolphin, and then it's towards your hands in plank. Push back and lift. And push back. And lift. And up. And do one more. All right, rest in Sphinx. Or push your hands on the mat and elbows down. Good. Breathe into your upper back. And then lower. I would like to offer that you bend a knee and find that foot. And then if you can, do the other one. If you cannot, don't sweat it. We're going to do this twice, but go up. Let your neck be soft, guys, so it's no tension. Let yourself move with the breath. Feel your shoulders. Feel your abs stretching. Feel your hips stretching. Relax a moment. Okay, we're either doing the other one or both again. Got it. Go up. Inhale. Relax. Child pose. Now we're going to add on a child's pose with your toes under. And if that doesn't get you enough and the feet come up, say your toes are still under and that's more toe stretch. I'm going to move back. If that doesn't get your toes enough, get your hands behind you and lift your hips. Breathe in. Good. Knees towards each other if you can. All right. Can you pop into there's all these different squats. So in yoga, this one's Mudrasana. So this kind of squat. If not, do the other kind, which is Happy Baby on your back. So if you can, I love making sure we have squats in our life. I love making sure we have posture strength in our life. So hold here and look at everybody squatting. Karen, I think you're good. You might be able to walk your feet out a little bit more, I think. Just try it, see if it feels good. Yeah, it's like a weight. You want your bones to feel like they're in a good place, like it's stretching your muscles, not hurting your bones. I like it. So do you notice how we're putting our hands in this stretch? Pull them lower if you want more stretch in your hands. You see how I was in prayer and then it just kept separating. Yeah. All right, have a seat. Go up and back. Now this is the rack posture. Go up and back. Now you soften the elbows. You may have to readjust your arms. I don't want you heavy on your hands. It's really, Catherine, as light as you can get on your wrist. So there's no pressure on them, right? You're just using the floor to stick your hands somewhere so that your arms are in a stretch. Your upper back lifts. Your chin is probably still going to need to tuck because I don't want it to feel like it's strained, but you're barely on your hands. You're just using the floor to keep your arms in a place. Lean like your sternum has a string on it. Pull it forward. This is the rack, a great posture stretch. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Now sit any way you want, and just to show you, I'm gonna sit this way. Sit any way you want. Sometimes sitting on your booty makes your back it makes it harder to do a neutral spine. You kind of have to flex. So if that's you, sit on, or you can sit on a pillow. But otherwise, do cow face somehow. Breathe in. Up and the other side. Breathe in. Yeah, help that arm out. This one can be a quickly diminishing stretch, so I love to include it weekly at minimum, and usually every other day. What I want to make sure, you know, the arm that's behind you, it's very tempting to kind of tilt into that side of your back. You want to make sure that you're even, and I see even, I just want to tell you that, yeah. Lift up through your right back, Jean, just a tiniest bit, right there. Breathe in. Now this is prayer pose, but behind you. So this hand position behind you, fingertips up. Keep going, I'm gonna just show you real quick. This one. Open your elbows towards the back. I'm gonna look at the shoulders. Good job, guys. Feel that. You can walk it up higher if you want. All these are for posture. Keep going. I'm just going to show you from the side. Notice from here, we're not letting the head poke forward, where it's head retraction, your ears in line with the shoulder. That's what you'd like during the day when you feel tired and you're kind of forward or on your electronic device, just sort of, oh yeah, I need to pull my ear back. All right, this is, you can sit any way you want. This is for the front. So like you're saying, kiss my hand, pull your fingers down, drop your shoulders. Yep, sit any way you want. The arm forward is generally, you can, yeah, it's not really, doesn't matter how you sit or stand. You can do this at the car if you're in a red light or something. Take your other one. Oh, that one's tight. Sometimes you don't know it's tight till you start to stretch it, right? So we want to be ahead of the curve. That's why we're doing it. Let your neck rest. Take your other side of your hand, so you see I have my palm pulling down, and just let your shoulder blade down the back. And this one's a really good one. You can do this against a table, but you've noticed people sort of walking around with kind of a claw hand? You're doing the opposite stretch, or when people have a stroke, sometimes their hand comes in. So what you're doing is the opposite. We want to keep these joints flexible. And I got just a minute. Let me show you the finger one, because some of you have hand issues, and this is just so nice. Really straighten out your thumb. Really straighten out your first finger. And I mean, give it your attention, right? Really straighten out your middle one. Really straighten out your third one. That's where it sort of gets hard. Really straighten out your last. Okay, can you pull thumb in, but don't let the other ones bend. First finger in, don't let the other ones bend, and try to keep them straight. Now the middle one, now really straighten that, like they're not curled in, right? Really, now the fourth, really straighten out your pinky, and then really come in. Good job. And then just stretch them out as wide as you can. Nice. And then we'll shake them out. Nice. So that's just a little hand one if you're troubles with arthritis, or you just don't want to. So we'll take a moment just to put your hands on your heart and take a breath in to your heart. And when you breathe, notice how your breath, it helps your spine. It gets taller, it gets taller, it gets taller. And all those posture exercises we do for the back body, and all those stretches we do for the front body, it's easier to hold an upright posture. So feel that right now. We don't get to pay much attention so much to our posture during the day, but notice it here. So right now you're telling your fascia where you like it to be. It's tall, but there's no tension. It's lifted, your ears in line with the shoulder, your jawline's parallel to the floor, your heart is open. You have a very easy ability to get a full breath with this body alignment.
Now notice what energy in your nervous system is associated with this. Usually confidence. I'm ready. Let's go. I feel good. I feel appreciative. So notice that energy. Posture begets mood, mood begets posture. We're going to let this be our vibration that we're setting, just like you turn on a radio dial for the rest of your day. My posture feels good. My breathing feels good. My energy feels good. This is the tone I'm going to set no matter where I go. Nothing in my outside world's going to affect that tone because I'm so solid. Whenever you're ready, come back into the room with so much appreciation. Thank you guys so much. Good job. Bye. Have a great day. Bye.